Hello everyone, my name is Dellizar. Fun fact, this is my first take on this, and we'll see whether or not I do a good job or a bad job, or if the job's moderately done. But we're going to be doing a behind the scenes video for the animation of Valis versus Muse. It was neat, I liked it, and I thought, oh wait, I've seen a couple of these like behind the scenes videos when it comes to animations and stuff. Why don't I go back and showcase some of the things that I did for this? I mean, it was like an 8-day project. Technically, it was like 6 days because 2 of those days I was moving house in the middle, which was bullshit. But I set it up, finished it, and got it relatively done pretty quickly. Um, for those who do not know what it is I'm talking about, look at the short section of my YouTube channel here. Dellizar Slit Arts. Thank you. Now, if you do not mind, we will be going off to check out what we originally got. Because this originally started from Dellizar Slit trying to basically. That was a black screen. That was not what I meant to do. This one? Yeah, alright. It started out from me trying to find and acquire, funny enough, a clip. This was a clip from Valis, or poor Valis, as some people know. Lovely slime, lovely creator, artist, illustrator, storyteller. They have their own series going on with Slime first, but they have their OC and VTuber model and all that shit going into Valis. Valis was streaming, and I made him do a funny thing on stream by saying, "Hey, can you make like some anime sword grunt sounds and stuff?" I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was, and then I went, bet. So we're gonna now do that. So looking over this, there was like the initial, I guess audio is here.
Us just yapping from time to time. Thank you. Sickly, can you do an anime short stream for me, Valis? Sorry. Oh, I can't really do that. Sorry about that.
God dang it! Now I'm sneezing. Sorry, I accidentally touched my dire Tarask Fool's Gold statue, and it's dusty as hell, and it wiped my nose, and now there's a bunch of dust in my nose. Ah, shit. Alright, well, everybody. So we went on from that, right, which was the initial thing that we were doing. Is this the right screen? Maybe it's the right screen. Okay, it's just blacked out. Can I, like, not be blacked out, please? What the I want to showcase the thing. What? Okay. Writing capture. Chrome. Go. Thank you. Okay, shoot. We immediately went on from there, and that's when we took that piece. Now, for those who did not know, a few months back I made this sword based off of Alice's design, using its colors and stuff, and he said he wanted a Moonlight Greatsword. And I did that like within the realm of one stream and just did it really quickly. That was fun as hell. However, there was, for this one, we quickly made the body, which was also like during one of the streams, and I think this turned out relatively well for like our first draft. I'm so thankful that Valis does not have all his fingers. I did not want to model all of those. I really didn't. I was so lazy. I was like, nah. Immediately after that, we then went on to work on like a little bit of a posing practice, which again, this was a rudimentary, like relatively simple rig. We were not trying to do something complex. We just needed to have flexible arms, bones, and joints so that we could do a fight animation using the audio that I had just showcased earlier. From there, we then got into, which was this, the initial plan of attack. Yeah, the original plan was to have the Muse basically running around on all sides, dodging, dipping, and ducking. That did not stick, but it was good. Which again did not stick, but it was good for a little bit. We then got into a nice dynamic shot. This was back before I was trying. I wanted to keep the Muse constantly in frame and keep us always locked in on target of seeing our enemy. Problem is, that was hella disorienting and it sucked. So we changed that as the dynamic angle. And from there, I then realized, wait a second, I have free will. Why don't I have a static angle and a dynamic angle? So you can choose which one you want to go for. There was also me when I added in the sparks and slashing effects. There was a few steps in between this, but we're gonna leave it at this, right? Then we got into good old fighting here. Obviously, you see a bunch of slashes, parries, and everything, and it's really fast. Funny enough, we'll get more in detail about what's all going on after, but it was good. Just couldn't be bothered to animate them running around. Yeah, that was the reason why we stopped doing all this shit. Instead, they stayed and just had a few clashes here and there. Oh yeah, there's also the audio hell version of this, which is complete dog shit because instead of like just having only the sword grunt noises, it's every time there's a slash, it makes a noise.
Sorry. Oh, I can't really do that. Sorry about that.
Fucking hell. That was fun as hell. Then we had the final. Oh yeah, no, we're on to the final shots. Yeah, the final overhead was this. Really, it was just me going with all the parries, all the slashes, all the things. I really do like this fucking animation though. I don't think there was much like real development on a lot of these. For the final stuff, I mean, I did a little bit of like light work, and that was like very minimal light work. Actually, I'll showcase the light work and some other things here in a second. Once we actually open up the Blender file and showcase those. Oh yeah, I added in the splits at the last second. A little bit of motion for the Muse. I was getting tired. Not tired per se, but more so losing interest to keep adding in more miniature details that I'm not sure if people were going to notice, especially with the rate of how fast this animation was, because I was doing 24 frames a second and also animating an attack every single time he did a ooh, ah, yeah, ooh. It on average I made each attack like within 3 frames, which was ridiculous. Like genuinely one of those things where it's like, hey, it's too fast. And honestly, that's fair. I know for a fact I also did POV shots for these, funny enough, which is hilarious. It's hilarious to me because it just looks ridiculous. Like, how the hell do you even understand what's happening? It is one of the most beautiful things I can imagine. What is this? Oh, and that was something else. Oh, there was one more down here. There you go. Yep, and then we had the Muse's POV. Seriously, you never want to have to fight anything that makes you want to see that. Actually, never want to fight anything that makes you want to see that. Sounds like a ridiculous sentence because it doesn't have any true meaning. I would never want to fight any person or be in any scenario where I have to fight at anime speeds and not have an increased reaction speed. Like, holy shit. I could never. I'd fall over and have an epileptic seizure at this point. There was, funny enough, in the middle of all of this, a punch between these two characters, which is hilarious because it's just a pause it and miss it. If it's a pause or you miss it. And at one point, I was thinking about adding in like some really special effects for it, but then I was like, nah, let's not. We'll take those away. But yeah, we were gonna have some crazy like glowing sort of effects for that bit for that one punch. At one point, I was gonna have them like punch in the middle, and like have a big shockwave come off, or try to do like impact frame on the punch. But then I realized at the speed we were, it would just be more visual clutter. It's better to just leave it as a small Easter egg that someone can pause on if they really, really want to pay attention. Now, let's get on to the next thing. Well, next thing, it's not necessarily the next thing, and more so that this is the actual part that most people would want to see. The part where we get to see the actual 3D reference of what's happening. You render. These lights here were not added until like the last second. Funny enough, and those lights are purely the white one and yellow. The yellow is only used for the last bit here to give this sword some shine. Funny enough, that's it. It doesn't move at any point. However, the light here, the white one, is used constantly to give this sword a edge, so it's not a static silver piece of chunk, right? And it doesn't make it any better because again, the Muse itself is a default character ass looking thing, so it's not going to have a ton of personality. And now it's the point. It's supposed to be a mannequin, a kind of stand-in, drop-in character that Valis could fight. Anyways, Valis, you say that this isn't a debuff on your stamina, but I disagree. You didn't last 20 seconds. You gassed out after like 20 seconds in. Now I will say, Valis, this is a Valis with literally no eyes, so he was doing all this blind. Great feat, but the stamina is not there. Great perception, great reaction speed, great all that, but the stamina was not there. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into the actual like breakdown of what happened for the combat of this, because I fucking love it. It was one of those fun animations where I was just trying to come up with ideas. I remember at one point I said like either side swings or I think horizontal or vertical swings. I think that was what I asked at one point. So due to him choosing good old up down, I dipped it as much up down as I could for a lot of these attacks until the big barrage, because at that point I was like, you know what, I just gotta come up with ideas. I just have to come up with ideas. This was literally the first original attack. Yeah. Can I zoom in? Yeah, zoom in. There you go. My mouse is broken. That's why I be zooming with the little thing over here with the magnifying glass. Why was it taking me so long? I didn't zoom through there. I'm sorry, Crystal. Anyways, so good old first attack. Then change that in with the secondary overhead. Hops in with another jump. Why did I make him jump? He's short. I know you're not short for a slime of your size, Valis, but you're short by comparison to the Muse. Again, didn't want to animate them moving their legs, so they just started sliding around. And if you think that I'm gonna give a fuck, not really. This is fan art. This is made to be quick. We then transition into a slight wind up pullback, and then we move on to the actual spin move, which I love so much. It's such a fun thing to do. Using that spin move into a lunge, you don't actually realize it, but like, oh, well, damn. I thought that he dodged it, or maybe okay, it probably got changed to whenever I messed with it some more. Originally, that was a little bit higher with this sword. So apparently, no, Valis, you killed him early. Shit, you killed him 68 frames in. Damn. Oh, that's what happened. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I keyframed it on 66 at 69. The dude's supposed to duck out the way and avoid it. But because interpolation is interpolation, you have stabbed him on frame 68. Damn. Sorry, man, you were cheated out of your victory. Anyways, man ducks underneath, then proceeds to drop in with the meanest fucking pull down. Which, by the way, I love this sword so much. It's so ridiculously big compared to his body. I also had to realize that it is incredibly hard to not come up. It's not incredibly hard to not come up with it. It's incredibly hard to come up with reasons. Not reasons. It's hard to make sword swings look different after a while because you're just doing so many of them. Oh shit. Sorry for the yawning. It's early as hell in the morning. Trying to record this before the rest of the family wakes up. Anyways. Jumps into the air. Immediately comes down with the big stab. Which, again, as many overhead and aerial attacks as I could. Wow, this is... Can I just... There we go. Yay. Goes in, and then he leans upwards, pulls this out, and swings above, which leads to the Muse doing the splits as a way of getting past this. I'm not gonna lie, at one point I was thinking about giving the Muse a BBL, giving a big fat ass, just for one frame when it gets low as hell. But I decided against that purely because I realized it may not be the best decision. And now that I've said it out loud during this, I guess we may as well give a approximation of what would have happened. Give me a UV spear. Shrink it. Oh, that was... Shrink. I need to be booty sized. Let's see. About this much. So that would be about here. Yeah. Alright, so that's one cheek. Two cheeks. Big fat ass. Yes, this is ridiculous. No, I do not care. It is funny to me. Actually, hold up. Let me just grab this. Muse body. And Muse body. Take both of you here. Shade smooth. Yep. Damn. Wait, that ass is too low. Yep, there you go. Valis, I'm sorry, but he had to throw it back to avoid your attack. Fucking stupid. Okay, let me get this out of here. Secondary thing. This is completely something that... Okay, it's not completely, but it's something that I doubt almost anyone would actually notice on like the first watch through of this. Valis does not walk to the Muse. He slides. Yeah, no, he turns around. That was like the initial thing here. I probably could have actually gone about like moving their legs to move with a walk in this animation, but that was not intentional. But what was intentional was the slide. Because I really like the idea that, well, let's abuse the fact that you're a slime for your lore, right? You are a thing that does not have regular ligaments and bones. So, I assume that you are kind of bouncy, got a rubbery, like, elasticity to you, to an extent, and would respond well to basically blunt force, such as your boot hitting the ground. So, the way that he moves here is that he's... Let me stop highlighting that. The way that Valis moves here is that he's sliding across the ground with his foot, right? His heel is dragging. But once he ends up hitting the ground and misses that attack, if that swings over him, you're thinking, well, okay, so he's moved out of the way. Problem is, he didn't just move out of the way. No. Valis isn't going to walk away. He's not going to move. He's not doing any of that. Instead, what he does is that he literally bounces from that foot onto his other foot and then uses that as the momentum to get into it for the next attack. which I think is a dope way to do it. Just playing hopscotch basically with your two legs rebounding the force to give you hops. Proceed from there. We get into a couple thrusts here, and then it was thrust, then spin move again. Problem is, a spin move like that takes multiple frames when y'all are already doing a lot of shit. So instead, the Muse just hops over, lands to the other side. You decide to use another spin move. Problem is, he just landed. He doesn't have enough time to get down low. But we do have enough time to get in there for one of these clashes, which is going to start the beginning of the barrage of sword clashes. Fun fact, actually, the way I did these, because I realized, holy shit, there's not enough frames to even like try to do this, and also because it would take forever. I did all of the like impacts on every third frame. As I said, every 3 frames there's a new attack. But the way I did it was I put all of the attacks frames, basically I lined them up so that they always made contact first for every 3 frames, and then later I went back to put them in the placement of the part of the not the end of the swing, but the beginning. So originally this wasn't there, it stayed down. Let me go back some. Give me a second, but you go and check something. Yeah, there you go. Alright, I found it. So, this, right? You can tell here. No. I'm going to go this one. What the fuck? Why is it? I'm pushing enter and I need to stop. Okay. The thing here is that basically each and every one of these little altercations, they're touching blades inherently. They're not ever actually pulling back to wind up for their swings. Yeah, that's the word, wind up. They're not having any wind up for their swings because I'm putting all of the frames together that are them contacting, and it's just interpolating between those. That's why it looks like they're more or less fencing, and it's just scraping on the blade here, compared to the final animation, which is, well, a lot more actual pullback and swings. So that's what happened here. Is it was one was with wind up and the other one was without it. Tell me if you like the wind up more or the without. I think with wind up it looks better in terms of like when you slow mo it, but it also happens to be more chaotic to visually see. However, that led to this. I use this as my way of telling when and where it was off for attacks, basically. Pretty much any time that there was supposed to be an attack, we put a frame of it at small size. Afterwards, swords made contact first on each and every contact frame. Then I went back and added in individually one by one frames for the spark effect here that were of it whenever this thing was contact. Yeah, swords contact. Yes. Then I put sparks on those frames where it contacted. After that frame, I then made the sparks big each time in between, and then I went back after everything to then move the swords so that they would be in wind up position. Yeah, this led to the good old, hey, the sword is now coming up, comes down, parries here, immediately it's doing all this. Now, I could have done that for the Muse as well, but again, as I said, this was in like the last stages of this animation, and I was really starting to burn out because, hey, project takes about a week, give or take, and I don't have anything else. Also, I'm trying to wrap this up in time so I can start an art fight. Fun fact, I will be doing art fight this year, and I have a few different suggestions, at least for right now. But, oh shoot, did someone at me? Oh lord. Oh no, Valis actually just started streaming, funny enough. Neat. Yeah. Let's see here. What am I doing? Yeah. Immediately goes into the next swing. This one just parried off from the side. Of course, goes up, then just attacks again. And honestly, yeah, no. Because of the fact that Valis's sword is moving so much and it's being so massive, it's ridiculous. I like power scaling, so I'm just imagining this a major feat of just like, hey, it's not a sword. It's more like a hunk of iron, fucking berserk ass feat of just moving this big ass blade so damn fast. But no, it's constantly means that Valis is always the aggressor in this altercation. Even when he launches him into the air, he still is trying to attack the Muse. Which I thought about at one point. I was like, do I want to have him bounce and jump up there? I was going to do it until I realized how long the sword was compared to your body. It literally, like, the sword's like almost double his height. Actually, no, I think it actually is like double Valis's height. I had the Muse decide to flex its body effectively to like throw itself into the attack. Pretty much, send this arm here, move your legs here, rotate yourself so you can actually defend yourself. Now the Muse is just parrying on its way down, which I think is a dope ass idea, like conceptually. Come on, there you go. Wait, what am I doing? I can just ring, 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 ring. Where the fuck's the ring? You. Wait, what? Oh, I forgot that the ring had an actual floor. Die for right now. That way I can just zoom in from beneath. Okay. Yeah, just die for right now. For the sake of showcasing this. I fucking love these individual poses and frames. I want almost all of these to be like screensaver worthy. Yeah. Um, what is the word here? I actually really wanted this one to be like a thumbnail for this, but then I realized it's kind of cluttery. It's hard to see, well, not hard to visually see. I think if I had changed the color of the Muse to be a little bit different, it would have been more clear. But at the same time, for lore reasons, this is the most default Muse that you can get. It hasn't adapted, it hasn't decided to copy anyone's abilities, it's just a regular Muse. Um, yeah, let's move on from here. Then it gets into this. Next stage of this was just the movement backwards because hee haha, homie just dropped down on top of me. If I decide to stay here, Valis will get stabbed. So we now move down into this. Grab, zoom in. I really fucking love some of these poses. Just the decision to have him start using the sword as a shield also made sense because now he's the one actually being aggressed. Is aggressed the word? To be acted upon with aggression. Aggressed? Fuck it, it's a term now. Now, does that stay for? Does he stay within that position for a while? No, not even close, because of the fact that again, Big Sword does the talking, and now you're gonna stay at fucking sword point. He immediately changes the odds by just showcasing, hey, you saw how fast I can move this blade. If you stay at that close of a range, I'm going to cut you. So now it becomes a matter of, okay, I'm gonna have to keep back with the Muse. Problem is, Valis isn't gonna let you keep back. He rushes him down and then presses him with the damn sword, using it again as an object, as another type of object besides the sword. He's just shield bashing him at this point. Immediately has him parried, drops to one knee, which I think is dope as hell. Goes in, knocks him off balance once more, sending him into effectively the most optimal I'm about to cut you stance I've seen in a while. Like, seriously, tell me that this ain't some like Bleach Kenpachi level shit where it's just like, yeah, I'm about to beat your ass until you're on your knees, and then I'm gonna cut you from torso. Well, not torso to torso. You don't have two torsos, but I'm gonna cut you from shoulder to hip. Like it's about to be done. Itty bitty, right? Now he brings down his lovely blade on top of this man, which I think, okay, cool, 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 cool. You know, you brought down your power. That's great. Problem is, that's not enough because he's not gonna do it once. He's gonna do it again. Yeah, do it again. Do it again. It would be funny actually now I think about it to just go back and be like, 1A, 1A. Fucking 1A, 1A, 1A. Why did they bring back here? Oh yeah, this was a section I just didn't do. Another cut thing from this animation was the decision that I was gonna have the Muse in turn do a similar action back to Valis of knocking him back. Which I guess you could say he did, but at that point it's like, dang, you're about to press this man, and he barely like hits you to launch your ass back there. He then rushes him down this time and meets him over there. Yeah, we're just realizing I can just move this over here so you have an actual better showcase of what's going on. You're going. Yep. Anyways, homie attacks, gets him down there, and then TPs his ass back over. Again, this was. I went back afterwards and did a bunch of movement for Valis at that stage to give him his swings, but I forgot that the main thing with Muse that he's missing is there's motions for when he jumps back, and there's motions for when he's doing some of these other attacks that he did not get added in, which would have technically been more feats for the Muse. But it's fine. Was this the one? Oh yeah, that is the one. So not only is it just like in the middle of this, he launches Valis back. He then gets one clash, and after that one clash, both of them jump back. And in some pure Jujutsu Kaisen, pure just fighting shonen anime love, I said, well, let's not just put one frame of the cross punch in here. Why not, right? Just do a cross punch for like a singular frame. And that was fun. Like it's literally just one frame only, but it's there. If you can pause it and you can catch it, do it. Send me a screenshot of you sending out one of these cross punches. I would love to. I'd love to see it. After that, they immediately get back to clashing, which leads into all of the lovely big fucking arc swings from Valis. Seriously, it's just him aggressively attacking him at this point. Like, hey, you're gonna stop. You're gonna hold. You're gonna go any other way or die. Launches him back. He then tries to step away, take some time. Problem is, Valis has learned something. He's no longer just chasing him whenever he backs away with the Muse backs away. We're in a ring, homie. You're not going anywhere. So I imagine Valis can just realize, why am I chasing this dude? He keeps moving around. Nah, I'm gonna stand still, let the dude chill and do something, and then whenever he runs his ass around, bam, clash one more time. Problem is, Valis is tired. And that's the real reason why he didn't run around. It wasn't that he got a lot smarter all of a sudden, immediately in the middle of combat, and just stopped chasing him. Nah. He got tired. It's okay. Yeah, had him coughing, wheezing, hacking up his goddamn lunch. And, then he just wipes his face, gets in there, coughs a little bit into his face again. And then the good old. Sorry, I don't know what the hell that sound was. It's really funny. I like this animation. It was good. Anyways, this was a behind the scenes for Muse versus Valis. Yeah, I think that's it. Bye bye. Have a great day, everyone.